The program is about to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's IANA presentation.
Intermodal is moving forward. Marine, supplier, rail, 3PLs, and motor carriers. Our goal, to deliver freight more efficiently, more economically, more securely, and in ways that are more environmentally friendly, to increase imports and exports, to move goods and meet the needs of industry, business, and consumers, to advance the role of intermodal across North America. IANA, the connecting force behind intermodal freight.
Thank you for joining us for this signature series presentation, part of IANA's The Business of Intermodal Continues program. To get us started, please welcome the chairman of IANA and president of Reliable Transportation Specialists, Mr. Kevin Lotek.
Good afternoon. On behalf of IANA Board of Directors, thank you all for attending today's Bright Ideas Innovation Incubator event, IANA's continued commitment to moving the intermodal industry forward. I have the pleasure today of presenting the Chairman's Award, which is given in recognition of exceptional contributions of an individual to the association and the intermodal industry. The specific award is nominated and selected by the IANA Board of Directors. This year, the Chairman's Award is being presented to Patrick Casey, recently retired Vice President and Chief Economist at TTX Company. Pat has been a longtime supporter of IANA and the intermodal industry throughout his distinguished career, and we're pleased to recognize his contributions with this award. He has spent countless volunteer hours providing IANA's members with his expert analysis and industry insight, participating in webinar presentations and speaking at IANA events. His in-depth explanations of current market conditions, as well as looking to the future, have always been beneficial to me and my business. We at IANA have considered Pat our in-house intermodal economist. Pat began his professional career at Chassis System Railroads in the Market Research Department. He held commercial and planning roles over the next 17 years, finishing as the Director of Marketing for CSX Intermodal. From CSX, Pat joined TTX Company as the Director of Forecasting and Planning. Upon his retirement, he was the Vice President and Chief Economist. Pat also earned the Certified Business Economist designation from the National Association for Business Economics and was on the NABE Board of Directors. He also recently served as chairman of the Conference of Business Economists. In addition to his work at IANA, Pat has served on the board of directors for the University of Denver Transportation Institute and for the Railway Supply Institute. It is my privilege to thank you for your service, Pat, and present you with IANA's Chairman's Award. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, IANA, for the award. I appreciate that very much. And I have been involved with intermodal for many, many years. I started working at CSX in the railroad industry in '83. Then I moved separately to intermodal in 1989 and worked from '89 until 2020 and worked for CSX to 2000 and then moved to TTX in 2000. And about half of the business that TTX has is intermodal. And that's very, very helpful to be involved with that. And the growth that we've seen in intermodal over time has been significant. I also like to share in 1989, when I entered intermodal, about 60% of intermodal volume during that time was trailers. Now it's only about 7% that's trailers rather than containers. And then in 2002, TTX signed a contract with IANA to work on the data for IANA and to do writing for IANA quite a bit. And we have done that since 2002. We started doing that intermodal marketing trends and statistics, and that has changed recently and a little bit shorter writing. But certainly also one of the things that we have done at TTX and that I've participated in is the webinars that we have that talk about that. So very interesting to have been involved with that in IANA. And lots of things have changed in the intermodal industry as well. As I mentioned, many trailers when I first started, but that has changed to containers. There are lots of domestic container loads right now, lots of international container loads, and that should continue over time. And we do expect trailer volume to continue to trend down slightly over time, and we'll see where that goes. I also like to brag, by the way, I'm looking out the window of my home, and you can see an intermodal train about 600 feet north of my home. So good to be able to see that as well on Union Pacific in Chicago, in the Chicago suburbs. So things have gone very well for intermodal. Little bit of challenges the last couple of years. Two big things in 2019 was the trade war that really reduced imports that are a big part of intermodal volume. And then, of course, in early 2020, COVID-19 pulled things down quite a bit, but turned quite a bit back up over the last several months. And that's very positive. And e-commerce is a really big driver of what has been pulling up intermodal volume quite a bit recently. Thank you, Kevin Lotak, for that Chairman Award that I have received from IANA. It's very honorable to get that, and very much involved with the intermodal industry, and very happy to see that happen. I do appreciate that quite a bit. And IANA has been a wonderful thing for me to be involved with in many, many different ways. And hopefully can go to the Intermodal Expo next year.
We are pleased to be joined by Val Noel, Executive Vice President and Chief Operations Officer for Track Intermodal.
Hello, everyone. I'm Val Noel, the Executive Vice President and Chief Operations Officer for Track Intermodal. On behalf of all my Track Intermodal colleagues across North America, I would like to welcome you to this IANA webcast, Bright Ideas, the 2020 Innovation Incubator, part of IANA's The Business of Intermodal Continues program. At Track Intermodal, we are driven by innovation, quality, and customer responsiveness. As we approach our 53rd year of serving the intermodal community, we are pleased to be able to introduce this special webcast that will focus on ideas, the creative sparks that lead to innovation for the entire supply chain. 2020 has been a year like no other year. It has put the intermodal supply chain to the test, and I'm pleased to say that we have all responded amazingly well. The industry has worked hard, been creative, and done what was necessary to deliver critical transportation services to North America. These challenging times have frequently called for innovative solutions, and we haven't been disappointed with the creative responses we have seen. That kind of innovation is why we are here today. We are about to hear from 7 presenters who will tell us about their ideas that they believe can transform the intermodal industry. To help us along the way, we are pleased to have Sarah Barnes-Humphrey, the creator and host of Let's Talk Supply Chain podcast and the Supply Chain TV YouTube.com channel, to serve as today's Emcee. Now I'll turn it over to Sarah to get us started.
Please welcome today's Master of Ceremonies, Sarah Barnes-Humphrey.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Val and IANA. My name is Sarah Barnes-Humphrey. I am the host of Let's Talk Supply Chain and CEO of Shipz, and I will be your host for today. I'm really excited to be part of this program because as the founder of a startup myself, I know firsthand the challenges that innovative businesses have, from securing funding to making the right connections. And innovation has never been more vital than in logistics. In the space of only a few years, we've moved from phone calls and Excel spreadsheets to seamless online platforms. We've moved from being in the dark about our shipments to real-time tracking and visibility. We've gone from working in silos to embracing collaboration and utilizing the data that comes out of it. And that is in no small part down to the vision and passion of innovators, just like those we will be hearing from today. So as an industry, we want to give back with any and all help that we can, from networking to marketing, investors to compliance. Incubators like this one can really help to put promising innovators on the fast track to success. And this is something that's really near and dear to IANA's heart. With innovation as one of their pillars, they're committed to moving the industry forward in a meaningful and impactful way. So we do have to thank them for setting up this amazing event today. So thank you so much, IANA. And they've lined up an impressive panel of presenters for you as well. So before we get into that, let me just give you a quick recap of who they are. Inform Software, Compcare with KoiReader Technologies, BlackBerry Radar, Lytx, Phillips Connect Technologies, Cargologik, and BlueCargo. Before we jump in, we want to do a little bit of a test of the polling system. So if you don't mind, we're going to bring up the poll right now. We're going to bring up 3 questions. And if you can go ahead and answer those 3 questions, this is the same poll that's going to be happening after every single presentation. We need to make sure that you are answering all 3 questions. And so the first question on a sliding scale, 0 being not at all, 5 being absolutely or highly likely. So the first question is, do you like the following beverage? Water. The second one will be, do you like the following beverage? Beer. And the third one is, do you like the following beverage? Wine. So if everybody can utilize the practice poll just so we can get in the habit of putting in our answers after every presentation that we're going to be seeing today. Great. It looks like we've done that and that the polling works. So thank you all for participating in that. Now we're going to welcome to the stage our first presenter, Matthew Whittemire with Inform Software.
Welcome. Today we're talking about sustainability and cost reduction in rail operations. My name is Matthew Whittemire, Senior Manager, International Marketing and Customer Relations at Inform Software. Inform is an add-on optimization and AI software company based in Aachen, Germany, with a local office in Atlanta, Georgia. Rail is already the most efficient form of transport for containerized cargo over land. The Association of American Railroads reports that by reducing truck traffic by 50% on routes over 750 miles and converting it to rail traffic, the industry would save 26.2 million tons of CO2 annually. That's a huge number, and it's a prime driver, I'm sure, in the continued growth in intermodal freight numbers. The industry currently accounts for 2.1% of transport-related greenhouse gas emissions in the US, and this number will only grow alongside the growth of intermodal freight volumes. Simply resting on our morals isn't a pragmatic solution towards driving improved environmental sustainability as an industry. The AAR lists many innovative engineering and technology solutions that are driving green operations, including software that calculates the best speed for a train to travel, more efficient locomotives, anti-idling technologies, to name a few. Train load planning, often the responsibility of the terminal operator, not the rail operators, has a significant impact on a train's overall efficiency and rail operators' bottom lines. The solution that we're proposing is an AI algorithm that helps intermodal terminal operators plan more aerodynamically efficient trains. We need to take a quick science detour to explain why this is important. The most basic measure considered when planning a train is slot utilization. This applies for both single and double stack trains. However, as was well articulated in the 2005 research paper, Options for Improving the Energy Efficiency of Intermodal Freight Trains by Lai and Barkan, slot utilization is only one very basic measure. Two trains can be identical in slot utilization, i.e. the number of loaded containers, but present very different loading patterns and aerodynamic resistance. To keep this presentation understandable to the non-mathematicians out there, essentially there are three variables that impact a train's resistance: bearing resistance, flange resistance, and aerodynamic resistance. In the study, Lai and Barkan identified that for intermodal trains traveling at 35 miles per hour or more, aerodynamic resistance becomes the single largest factor which impacts a train's resistance and subsequent efficiency. Whilst they outline several factors that impact the individual elements of aerodynamics, the paper ends up focusing on one in particular: the size of the space between containers on adjacent railway cars, or what they term as gap length. In short, the smaller the gap length, the more aerodynamic a train is. In addition, smaller gap lengths at the front of the train have the largest impact on the train's overall aerodynamic efficiency. As an example, a gap length of 3 feet produced approximately a third less aerodynamic resistance compared to one that was 12 feet in length. By leveraging this established research on aerodynamic efficient rail operation, Inform began working to implement a new AI algorithm to accompany our core train load optimization algorithms, giving the add-on planning module the ability to plan and subsequently load a train to be as aerodynamically efficient as possible. Let's look at an example route in the US. The route from Los Angeles to Chicago is just over 2,200 miles long, one way. An aerodynamically efficient train prevents about 22.2 tons of CO2 emissions on one leg of the Los Angeles to Chicago route. To help you understand the impact of this, it's important for you to be able to understand that what preventing 1 ton of CO2 equates to. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the average passenger vehicle emits 400 grams of CO2 per mile driven. In other words, an average passenger vehicle in the U.S. will produce 1 ton of CO2 for every 2,500 miles driven. On one journey, optimization would save the equivalent of 55,500 miles of driving a passenger vehicle in the US. That's the equivalent of removing 4 cars worth of CO2 on each journey. Annually, these numbers stack up really quickly. A train that is optimized to be aerodynamically efficient that runs return 3 times per week will prevent 6,925 tons of CO2 from being produced. To use our example of cars, that's the equivalent of moving 1,250 cars annually from US highways. And that's just one hypothetical service between LA and Chicago run 3 times a week. Financially speaking, the study concluded that effective aerodynamic planning could save as much as 1 gallon per mile in fuel consumption. When the paper was published in 2005, Lai and Barkan estimated a savings of $28 million per year on this route alone. Modernizing that, of course, because that was 15 years ago, I looked at the price of a gallon of diesel in the US on the 3rd of December, and it was listed as $2.44. A train operator planning their trains for both slot utilization and aerodynamic efficiency can save approximately $5,500 on each leg of this route. If we use the same example from our CO2 calculation annually, these numbers quickly add up too. The same train that is optimized to be aerodynamic efficient will generate a cost savings of $1.7 million a year on the LA to Chicago route when running 3 times return per week. Inform's Train Load Optimizer is an established product operating in multiple ports globally, including 2 ports in North America. Since late 2019, we've been working to adapt the core algorithms with the added functionality to plan trains to be as aerodynamically efficient as possible, while still adhering to the core drivers of the optimization module, namely improving slot utilization, minimizing rail car configurations, ensuring adherence to hazardous good requirements, and adapting to ad hoc changes in loading requirements. We're now at a point where we're looking for a rail operator and or terminal operator to progress this concept into the final stage of real-world testing and refinement. The benefits of aerodynamic train loading planning have been clear since Lion Barkin released the research in 2015, yet 15 years on, it still isn't the norm when compiling train load plans. As an industry, it's time for us to work collaboratively, terminal operators, rail operators, and software vendors all coming together to transform the status quo towards environmental sustainability. Thank you very much. Please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions.
Thank you very much, Matthew Wittemeyer with Inform Software. Great presentation. All right, great. It looks like we have everybody's answers. So next up is Ash Prasad from Compcare and KoiReader Technology. Welcome to the stage.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ash, and I'm the founder and CEO of KoiReader Technologies. KoiReader is an award-winning company with logistics industry expertise and global footprint. Today, we are registered in 3 countries and doing business in 6. Our current innovation in the intermodal trade space is a result of collaboration between 3 companies, and during this presentation, you would hear from all. First and foremost, I would like to welcome Jim Hickman, President and CEO of Compcare Services, to speak about our partnership.
Hi. I'm Jim Hickman. I'm President and CEO of Compcare Services. And I can tell you we're very excited about our work with KoiReader and working with Ash's group. Digitizing the order entry process has been huge for our customers, not only for expediting that order entry process, but less clerical errors. In addition, by the KoiReader project, we've been able to extract and auto-archive the documentation that goes along with that, thus less human touches on that order. And with less human touches, more efficiencies are gained, and our customers are really, really excited and happy. We absolutely look forward to onboarding more customers as we vet out the ongoing processes and make this a real efficient process in the TMS intermodal space.
Since our official launch in May 2019, KoiReader has won awards all over the globe and most recently was designated 2020 Gold Vendor in Supply Chain Execution by Gartner. What is the problem that we have solved in the intermodal trade space? Intermodal companies across the industry deal with delivery orders that are received from customers over emails as attachments. Manual order creation from these documents is time-consuming, error-prone, and overwhelming due to varying document formats, complexity of information, and varying file types. To solve this problem, KoiReader has developed a radically different technology that actually reads documents much like humans do. Unlike other companies that use template-based machine learning models, a non-scalable approach, our innovation is truly agnostic of document templates and is even smart enough to determine import-export orders, route types, and other relevant details. Let's take a look how our innovation helps digitize delivery orders for intermodal drayage customers. What you're looking at is the delivery order digitization application that we have built in partnership with Compcare Services and Calhoun Truck Lines. On the left is the delivery order that our machine learning-based engine digitized, and on the right-hand side, you can see the output. The first thing our engine did, it read the information in the document, classified it as an import order. If the document were an export order, it would have classified it such. You can also notice that the origin address details are broken down into discrete key value pairs, whereas the document receives addresses as a block of text. We have a 1 terabyte machine learning based model built behind the scene that parses and breaks the address detail into discrete key value pairs. Then it tries to do a predictive matching with a short ID in the system. If the confidence score is high enough, this value will be auto-populated. Otherwise, an operations user can override this value. Likewise, we do this predictive matching for every single short ID that's not present in the document, but it's required for the TMS system for the delivery order creation. Now, if we look at the table details, you'll notice that the first column has container type, 40 feet high cube. The second column has container number, seal number, and last free date. Our engine not only reads the data from these tables and digitizes it the way it is, it actually does data enrichment. You're looking at a virtual table that was created by our engine, where it reconstructed the table, where 40 feet high cube is broken down into container size, container type, separate discrete key value pairs. Likewise, the seal number was moved into its own column. Similar approach is applied across a variety of documents that we receive, no matter how it comes. The technology is truly template agnostic, and it reads the information. Let's look at a more complex document. In this document, you can see there are 2 pages. Our technology, like the previous document, reads every single attribute. But what is of more interest in this order is the table structure. You'll notice the header is very complex. It's barely readable. Yet our engine was able to read every single piece of information and reconstruct the virtual table. The innovation that we have built for this industry is not just about data capture. It's about data capture, data enrichment, and applying intermodal grade intelligence. So the operations users can focus on core business activity and not manual data entry. From our experience, our innovation reduces operational cost by 70 to 80%, delivers 50 to 80% productivity gain, and reduces manual data entry error by 40 to 50%. Let's hear from Nick, who has been using the innovation in production for the last several months.
Hi, I'm Nick Hoffbauer, terminal manager here at Calhoun Truck Lines, a Midwest-based intermodal carrier. Through our partnership with Compcare Services and KoiReader, we've seen some real gains with our order entry process. Before partnering, we had multiple people entering orders all throughout the day, spending 10 plus hours a day just doing order entry. Now with KoiReader, we have been able to reduce that to a single person that is pushing through all the orders through and taking that process, like I said, down from 10 plus hours to 5 or 6 hours a day with one single person running that. It's really increased the efficiency of our team, been able to put people that were doing order entry and put them back into operations where we can really focus on moving trucks rather than just entering orders. And it's also, we've seen, increased satisfaction from our customers with a reduction in errors since the KoiReader is populating the fields automatically and we're not so reliant on human entry anymore. We've seen a reduction in errors by a pretty wide margin.
If you'd like to learn more about our innovation and the road ahead, we would love to hear from you. Thank you.
Great presentation, and thank you so much, Ash, with Compcare and KoiReader technology. We've got poll number 2 up on the screen for you. Just a friendly reminder, this is really important because it's going to help us determine the winner at the end of all of the presentations. So please make sure to answer all 3 questions before you submit the poll. So please submit that. It looks like everybody has submitted their answers. Thank you very much for that. And now we're going to presentation number 3. Welcome to the stage, Christopher Platt with BlackBerry Radar.
Hello, IANA members and guests, and welcome to the IANA Bright Ideas Innovation Incubator. My name is Christopher Platt. I'm the Senior Vice President and General Manager at BlackBerry Radar, and I'm here to talk about an industry innovation that can significantly and positively impact the intermodal transportation sector. And that innovation is the Radar Events Alerting System. Let's get into it. Any technology must solve problems within our industry. And for us, there's too many problems. It's a difficult business. With drivers, trucks, customers, loads, time deadlines, regulations, and more, it's a very difficult business and not easy. There's never enough time, staff, or money to address all the problems that face us daily. There's also too much data, too many dynamic moving parts in our industry. Each company is unique with a need to focus on what is important to their customers and their success. Having a niche, differentiating yourselves from your competitors is key to the success in this highly competitive industry. What is needed? something to help, a tool, some tool that can help focus on key items of importance, that can comb through mounds of data and use technology to highlight priorities and events of significance that can make a difference in the success of our businesses. And of course, any technology or process change must be reasonable in cost and simple to implement. The Radar Events Alerting System is designed specifically to highlight events within your transportation ecosystem that are uniquely important to your specific business needs, combing through mounds of asset location and status data to bring forward information that is most important to achieving your business goals. Create custom rules for data mining and exception management. Bring forward alerts on important combinations of data sets specific for intermodal companies looking to improve utilization, reduce costs, and improve service. Couple of examples. Send me an email alert when my chassis is sitting for more than 1 day outside of my approved geofences. Send me a text message when my container is empty at one of my customer locations so I can go pick it up and improve my turn times. Create a list of trailers that have over 10,000 miles since the last preventative maintenance and is within my maintenance yard so I can go grab it now and efficiently add maintenance to that asset. How does this event alert and reporting system work? It allows you to configure the events that you want highlighted and using a combination of data elements such as location and geofence. What's the asset type? Separate your chassis from your containers, from your trailers. What's the asset status? Is the cargo loaded or unloaded? Is the door open or closed? Is the chassis mounted or bare? Use time and mileage to separate alerts based on specific needs. Things you might want to know: assets that are sitting too long, unauthorized use of your assets, containers that are unloaded and ready for pickup, trailers that are loaded and ready, chassis that need maintenance, high-value cargo that is outside of authorized location, cargo that is sitting too long before being unloaded. So what specifically does this solution do, and how does it work? It allows for the creation of customizable alerts and dashboards to highlight business-critical asset status events, single events or groups of events. And you can see some screenshots there on the side. The solution allows you to create a customized dashboard, aggregate and consolidate events in a dashboard listing to help operations groups visualize and act upon key events you have set up. Have different dashboards for different teams within your business. Have a maintenance dashboard. Have an operations dashboard. Have a leadership dashboard highlighting only the customized events that you deem important for your business. It also allows you to send an alert or email or text message when you're away from your office or away from your laptop. Also, send customers directly or to a group email listing. This shows the different data elements that you can use in combination to create actionable insights. Could it help your business if you could understand the mileage of your asset and the geofence and what asset type it is? What about the location and time frame and cargo status of your trailers and loads? Could that help you improve your business? Use these data elements in unique combinations to create dashboards to specifically help you improve the performance of your business. The bottom line is the Radar Asset Alerting System helps you increase asset utilization by eliminating idle and underutilizing assets. Receive notification when trailers are loaded or unloaded, improve maintenance and dwell time and detention times. Reduce costs by automating yard checks, manage lease assets more effectively, and reduce theft. Provide differentiated service offerings for your customers to make a competitive difference for you and your business. That's an overview of the events alerting system. I hope you found this informative. Thank you for your time.
Great. That was a great presentation. Thank you so much, Christopher Platt with BlackBerry Radar. Once again, we have the polls up for you so you can go and vote on how applicable the innovation is to the intermodal industry. How much would the intermodal industry benefit from the solution? And number 3, how realistic is it and how quickly could it be implemented? Remember to answer all 3 questions so we can tabulate your votes at the end of this so that we can present you with the winner at the end of these presentations. And thank you to everyone who is submitting their votes and answering all 3 questions so that we can absolutely do that at the end of this. All right, so up next is Del Lisk. Welcome to the stage, and they are with Lytx.
Thank you for joining this presentation, Video Telematics, a rapidly evolving tech. I'm Del Lisk, Vice President of Safety Services for Lytx. And in this presentation, I'll be describing video telematics, but more specifically, sharing with you how rapidly it's changing and where it's going, and how it can help your fleet reduce collisions and control claims costs. First of all, what is video telematics? So video telematics is a technology that combines video recording for monitoring driver behavior with traditional telematics, capturing vehicle location, speed, idling, braking, and other sensor data. I've displayed on the screen several features that these devices may have, but really just highlighting 2 in particular. One, machine vision and artificial intelligence, and the other, in-cab alerts. So, machine vision and artificial intelligence, or MVAI, what is it? Well, cameras on your phones, and if you went to take a picture with that camera phone, what happens is that camera detects an object, determines the focal point, brings it into focus, and then automatically snaps a photo at just the right time. And that's really what machine vision and artificial intelligence are doing. So machine vision sees and recognizes an object, then artificial intelligence, which has been trained of a whole bunch of data, interprets and decides what to do about what the machine vision identified. This chart kind of shows the evolution of video telematics. Previous versions relied on accelerometers, in other words, measurements of chain force, as well as measurements through GP or ECM in terms of speed, the speed of the vehicle. Use those data points to determine when a potentially unsafe driving action may have taken place, when to create a report, or when to capture video. And that was very helpful. Certain behaviors that didn't cause changes in force or didn't involve speeding that were still very risky. Think of, for example, a driver on a cell phone. So there's lots of behaviors that were very dangerous that kind of went undetected with prior technology that are now able to be detected through machine vision and artificial intelligence. Using the road view sensor, looking forward in front of the vehicle, here are 4 behaviors as examples that can be identified through the use of machine vision and artificial intelligence. Here's an example of one of them. So in this case, the device is going to recognize a stop sign. It's going to also collect the vehicle speed data, combine the 2 and recognize that the vehicle never came to a complete stop, and therefore it's going to capture video at a particular moment. So there's the stop sign, the vehicle fails to stop, rolls right through it, and in this case, almost hits a crossing vehicle. This is exactly the type of incident that would not have been captured in previous versions of the technology, but with MVAI, it is getting captured. Here are behaviors that can be captured using the inside sensor with MVAI. Drivers using a cell phone, a driver not wearing a seatbelt, a driver fatigued or falling asleep, plus these other ones there. Here's an example of a driver where the video was, they were using a cell phone, and the machine vision and artificial intelligence recognized that and captures a video, in this case also sending an alert to the driver. So one of the biggest changes in reducing risky incidents is this combination of capturing more risky behavior through machine vision and artificial intelligence, combining that with audible driver alerts to bring it to their attention. So audible alerts are another big change that's really bringing improvement. Some benefits of audible alerts: one is that it enables the driver to correct that behavior in near real time. Also, it's really handing over the need and the ability to change over to the driver. So it really sends a message of driver empowerment. And in this current environment where it's very hard for us all to get together because of COVID, that vehicle equipped with MVAI and in-cab alerts, it's really an opportunity in the cab for continuous improvement, despite the fact we can't all get together. And if the driver is taking on more of the responsibility for the changes in their behavior, that means the manager has less responsibility. Their burden is reduced. So putting it all together in terms of alerts, these are examples of the various types of alerts that are available in the marketplace to alert drivers of potentially unsafe activities that are going on. Example of an inattentive alert. So in this driver is going to be looking down at their cell phone. The cell phone is actually out of the capture of the camera itself, but the MVAI recognizes the driver's head movement as being inattentive.
Distracted.
And so with this audible alert, in many instances, the driver is going to put that phone away and self-correct, which is exactly what you want. Do in-cab alerts, do audio alerts work? They do. This chart here is just one from a client who recently turned on audible alerts. And if you look about halfway along on the bar graph here, you see where the green arrow is. That's where they first enabled the audible alerts. And immediately after, you see a drop of about 50% in risky behaviors. And specifically what it did is when they turned on those audible alerts, they had a dramatic drop in both rolling stops. Drivers were doing a better job of stopping at stop signs, and also more compliance on wearing seat belts. And that primarily drove that change. Thank you for attending this session on video telematics.
That was great. Thank you very much, Adele Lisk with Lytx. So now, once again, we've got the poll up for you. If you can go ahead and answer all three of those questions so that we can tally your answers at the end and determine the winner. Remember that 0 is not at all and 5 is completely. So we are on a sliding scale for that. And if you could just go ahead and answer all three questions, then we will be able to better determine the winner at the end of this. So thank you so much for everyone participating and doing that for us. We are just getting ready for presentation number 5. And we're just going to wait until we get everybody's. There we go. We've got everybody's answers in. So I would like to welcome to the stage Cliff Creech with Phillips Connect Technology.
Hi, I'm Cliff Creech, Director of Sales Engineering for Phillips Connect. And I'm here today at IANA's 2020 Innovation Incubator to present our next bright idea. I want to start with chassis health telematics, and any review of telematics really has to start with GPS. So you can add GPS tracking to chassis and see where they're at, how long they've been there, and trace them back with all the events and breadcrumbing. But really, the next level is adding sensors to them to give you all the information you need to remotely assess what's going on with the chassis. So just going through one example, you can see this chassis is mated to a container. It has active tire pressure issues. It has an auto inflation system, but there's nothing out of the ordinary going on there. It has ABS issues, so we can look at the health of the brake system. We're monitoring the air tank and seeing the airflows in and out of the tank. There's nothing unusual going on there. And this unit has light issues as well. I'm going to drill into 2 of these just to show the level of data that's available from today's telematics. So I start with the light issue that was reported. This has a left turn signal fault that needs attention. Also on the tire side, this unit has two tires that are severely underinflated at 78 and 77 pounds respectively. You can also see, as you combine all the different sensors, that it has auto tire inflation activity on November 30th that pushed the pressures in these tires up, but they then fell again, which suggests that there is a leak in these tires and that they need attention. I focused on lights and brakes and tires as I went through telematics for a reason, and that's because lights, brakes, and tires cover 70% of out-of-service violations for chassis fleets. And anybody who's attended IANA meetings in the last 20 years knows that's where we focus on for our maintenance committee agendas. Lights, brakes, tires, over and over again, meeting after meeting. So we've established that chassis health data is available. Really, I want to shift the topic to how do we share that information with motor carriers? And the reality is right now, it's really hard to do that because the IEP that gets access to that information by investing in telematics doesn't have a good method to see which motor carrier is in possession at all times. And even if they had the motor carrier in possession, they don't have good ways to contact the motor carrier and share that information so that it can be of use to drivers. So our bright idea is to go back to the well and do that like we've done a lot of other things to improve the industry. Our solution is to go back to IANA, who has built time and time again great tools to help the industry solve the problems that we're facing, and really look at them to help us build it. And one of the pieces that helps us do that is the UIA that IANA administers on top of all of those great tools. The UIA covers 95% of intermodal interchanges, and it gives us the building blocks for our bright idea. Our specific recommendations. First, ask IANA to collect interchange information for every interchange completed under the UIA. That interchange information would include the facility, the chassis, the motor carrier, the date and time, and it would be both in gates and out gates so that you could establish the period of possession for each interchange. Also want to make sure that the data that's collected, it's not used for a commercial purpose, right? This is very specific for a safety and efficiency purpose that we're trying to promote. Not trying to make this commercial in any way. The second piece of our recommendation is to ask motor carriers to provide contacts as part of the UIA for health information coming from chassis. For the motor carriers that opt to give that information to UIA, it then lets the IEPs have a single place to go for both pieces that they need to share telematics information. They know the motor carrier in possession with recommendation 1. They know who to contact at the motor carrier because of recommendation 2. When you put all that together, they can send that information to the motor carrier, who can then get in touch with their drivers and tell them if there's a health issue that may make them route that driver to a different asset. This doesn't sound like a big deal, but in fact, it's something that is going to change our world. All right, so in closing, how can our solution transform the industry? Well, when you have accurate information about the current health of an asset, and you share that with all of the parties involved in the intermodal supply chain, everybody wins. We have safer chassis on our roads. Drivers are more productive because they're not being sent to assets that they can't move anyway. So they're not spending time on dry runs, and they're not waiting in roadability lanes. Facilities are more productive because they're not loading containers onto chassis that can't leave the terminal anyway. Assets are more productive because you're not waiting for a driver or mechanic to inspect the unit to find a fault that the telematics could have told you when it happened. And last and most importantly, the customers who rely on all of us to make their intermodal moves happen have more visibility so that they can see that there's going to be an issue with a particular move, and they can have a better plan of how they're going to deal with that, right? So that was our bright idea, making motor carriers have access to chassis health telematics with 2 recommendations for IANA. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you for sharing that, Cliff. And that was Cliff Creech with Phillips Connect technologies. Once again, we have the poll up for you, so please go ahead and lock in your votes. 0, not at all. It's a sliding scale, and 5 is completely. And friendly reminder, just make sure to answer all 3 questions so that we can go ahead and tally all the votes and determine the winner at the end of these presentations. We are getting down to the end. We are on to presentation number 6, and just okay, so everybody's votes are in. So I'm going to welcome to the stage Miles Varghese with Cargologik.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to our pitch submission for the Intermodal Association of North America's Bright Ideas 2020 Innovation Incubator. Now that's a mouthful. Anyways, on behalf of the Cargologik team, we are grateful to have been selected, and we are excited to share with you our vision for intermodal transformation. My name is Miles John Varghese, and I'm co-founder and CEO of Cargologik, also based here in Miami like our company. My co-founder on this journey is Luis F. Trujillo Jr. He's 3rd generation in his family's shipping business, and he's our expert on freight forwarding. Before we dive into our presentation, we're going to show you exactly what we're going to be talking about today, and it's pretty straight to the point. Our agenda follows the core questions being asked by IANA's judges. As listed here in order, we're going to talk about the problem, our proposed solution, the benefits, and also the transformational impact we are aiming to have. And last, we're going to ask a little bit for your help and your support as we continue to strive for and achieve our vision. Now, first, we'll talk about the different layers of challenges that altogether constitutes a big problem that independent players have to deal with. We'll start first here with simple throughput. In 2019, global container throughput was 802 million TEU. That equates to roughly 401 million 40-foot tractor trailers, enough to circle the globe 126 times. And when you think about that, that's quite a number. When you're an industry operator, we forget that sometimes to really understand that massive impact and the breadth of the industry and how complex it is. The next slide uncovers some of the truths that we learned over the past year and a half building our venture and having hundreds of conversations, actually around 700, over the past year and a half. And we came to the following conclusions. And these problems are universal, and they affect everyone too. Everyone that is in the independent small to medium forwarder broker market that we've been talking to around the globe. So what we found out is that both domestically and abroad, the freight forwarder and the broker are generally not aligned with their customers and have no effective way to keep pace with those customer expectations. Dialing down into these factors at play, first, just by nature, the industry and the job is complex. As if size wasn't enough of the industry, it is becoming more and more complex with more trade spats, more data feeds, and too many logins to deal with at both the forwarder and the shipper level. Second, the market is challenging, especially in 2020. COVID aside, there are new developments that are testing the forwarder and the broker's ability to effectively manage and operate strategically in an increasingly harsh environment. First, we have the diseconomies of scale, simply meaning that the smaller players do not have the tech budgets or innovation teams or resources like the bigger players to keep up with customer demands. Second, there is the rise of disintermediating forwarders, which is a fancy way for saying that there are too many startups that are aiming to take your lunch being funded by significant amounts of venture capital. And third and last, just to really put an emphasis on how challenging the market is, forwarders now have to be wary of their old partners and providers who now seem to be throwing their weight around and investing in customer-facing technologies that didn't do that before. Liners are starting to take direct bookings on customer-friendly digital platforms aimed at smaller shippers, or they're acquiring logistics companies and making investments to get back into full-service, door-to-door logistics. And the fun starts on this next slide, focusing on what most of you already probably know, that the majority of long-tail end freight forwarders in this market have to deal with across the globe. And at the highest level, that is a broken and fragmented user experience for both parties. Commercial teams are walking into their office, getting bombarded with hundreds of emails, text messages, and too many calls. And when we do the math, 30 to 50 emails per box, we're looking at roughly 25 billion emails just to coordinate 2019's container freight. And I don't know about you guys, but there aren't too many people, I don't think, that are passionate about digging through complex email threads trying to find information. It's not a great experience generally. So the solution that we are striving for and building and proposing here is one that is A, collaborative, meaning that it creates transparency and provides value on both sides of the equation. Not just an operational tool for your internal team to use, but one that provides value to the shipper too. B is the customer experience. You have to stay focused there. And it's basically the problem that we've been discussing, the Amazon effect everyone kind of knows about, but keeping up with the shipper just isn't an option anymore. And also we have the industry network effects that if you've been in the industry, you kind of know how forwarders, brokers, and the shippers works. And especially those players who hate technology, right? And also the shippers who don't want to remember another login. So we're capitalizing on some of these network effects and how these parties interact with one another. This leads us to the benefits of our solution that are 100% in line with our mission of supporting the industry. You start first at the forwarder side. It's a one-to-many relationship. Even small forwarders have a lot of clients, just some more loyal than others. Then we move into the shipper side of the equation, eventually opening up functionality so that the shipper too can get one global dashboard to see and better manage their operations across forwarders and brokers that they're loyal to. Last, you can expand into other players within the same supply chain or the same shipment project that you're working on, smoothing communication and facilitating cargo flow. And this leads us to our transformational purpose and vision. And that is collaborative supply chain visibility, meaning that there's no reason why any member touching a specific shipment, and there's a lot of them, there's no reason why they can't log in easily on whatever device they're on, post status updates, photos, compliance documentations, have conversations, share doc receipts, other important instruction, and to share updates and alerts along the way. And when you do that, you're actually able to speed up the flow of cargo, and as a result, drive throughput and well-being through entire communities, through ports, and all the families that constitute this market. Thank you for taking a few minutes to listen to our pitch. Once again, we appreciate your time. We're grateful for the consideration, to the judges, to the fellow competitors, and we wish you all and the viewers a very happy and merry holiday. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Miles. That was a great presentation. That was Miles Varghese with Cargologik. The poll is up. That was presentation number 6. We are getting ready for presentation number 7, which is the last one of the day. Remember, this is a sliding scale, so 0, not at all, 5 completely, and friendly reminder to make sure to answer all 3 of those questions so that we can tabulate your votes into the winner at the end of these presentations, which is coming up soon. So we are getting ready for presentation number 7. Last but not least, it is Alexandra Griffin with BlueCargo. So welcome to the stage.
Returning empty containers and the rise in per diem fees are the #1 issues we are facing today. These problems have kept escalating in the last years, culminating this year with well over $100 million in fees charged to motor carriers and beneficial cargo owners. But detention and demurrage are not planned for by any of them. It can completely wipe out small carriers' profit margins or put them out of business. The way business is done has changed. We went from returning empties to the terminal of origin to returning them anywhere and booking mandatory appointments. Our idea for innovation at BlueCargo addresses the drayage market and is beneficial to trucking companies, port and terminal operators, 3PLs, freight forwarders, and BCOs. Rules exist and technology is here to help. Since Senator Bill 45, ocean carriers should provide guaranteed empty return location 48 to 72 hours in advance. Technology can help track changes and automate documentation to provide proofs and demand accountability. Truckers should not have to hire a full-time staff just to deal with looking for extension of 3 days and finding appointments. Our idea to achieve the goal of moving containers from port to first mile destination faster, more reliably, and more cost effectively is to create an agnostic platform able to connect to all sources of information, ideally through API, and create a smart dispatch system for truckers. System talking to systems, the plan will constantly be up to date and auto-book or auto-cancel containers drop-off, pick-up, and return. We can even imagine adding some kind of insurance level to automatically collect the proofs of the choices made to return containers, and particularly showcasing the difficulty to return because of either lack of appointments, a lack of chassis, or restrictive empty return location. That way, all decisions are backed up, and we can change the system from being curative to preventive. This should directly lower detention and demurrage costs. With no more no-shows and less manual mistakes, we will bridge the lack of appointment with optimum resource allocation and increase the number of dual transactions to hopefully reach the 50% target set up recently by the Port of Long Beach as the next top priority. Containers will need to be scheduled one by one manually, not anymore. Same for cancellation. Consequently, a dispatcher will be able to handle more than the maximum of 100 containers a day he can do today. Same for customer service people, and trucking company will be able to scale with technology. Only the standardization in communication and data sharing will allow our industry to unlock the power of optimization and AI-powered recommendations. Smart availability must consider many layers of information today reconciled manually. Container yard location, height in the stack, gate closure, receiving instruction, chassis and appointment availability, driver preferences, dual maximization, etc. We need data to flow in a standardized and reliable way, and terminals releasing standards APIs to reach our common goals. System talking to system is in everyone's best interest. We see some terminals' first initiatives already now to release standard APIs. This way, terminal operators should not have to fight with no-shows or lack of cancellation anymore. And trucker can use technology to scale their operations. Thank you very much.
That was great. Thank you very much, Alexandra from BlueCargo. This is the last one, guys. So make sure that you get your answers into all three questions. How applicable is the innovation to intermodal? How much would the intermodal industry benefit? And how realistic is it? Once we get all of your votes, then we are going to tabulate those and we're going to have a winner for you. We're going to announce that winner for you. I feel like Steve Harvey at the Miss Universe pageant, but hopefully I don't get it wrong. Just to recap a few of the, just a recap of what we've heard today. We've had a lot of great ideas coming from all across different corners of logistics. Matthew, thank you for mentioning the non-mathematician side of things. That really helped me. And he was talking about how AI can transform the industry. Ash from Compcare, he was talking about efficiency, data, cost reduction, key to digital transformation. Christopher from BlackBerry, process change being reasonable. I definitely agree with that. Dell from Lytx, recognition and interpreting data to help keep everyone safe. Miles from Cargologik, collaboration, customer experience, industry network effect is the solution to freight moving forward. Cliff from Phillips Connect, tech helps us be more productive and provide more visibility. And Alexandra from BlueCargo, smart systems using AI. So we covered so much today in all of those great presentations. I want to thank everybody for bringing your bright ideas together to this incubator. And hopefully we are going to have a winner soon. I know that they are busy in the back end tabulating the votes so that they can let me know who that winner is. I hope wherever you are right now and today that you are having a great day and that you have enjoyed the presentations and what IANA has brought to the table here with this incubator. So we have a winner. Drum roll. Do we have drum roll? No, I don't think we have any sound effects. Sorry, guys. So the winner is Christopher Platt with BlackBerry Radar. Awesome. Awesome. So we're just going to wait because Christopher is going to be joining me on stage very, very shortly. And I think he's here. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you. A big congratulations to you and the team over at BlackBerry Radar. Well-deserved win. So let's talk about a couple of things. Why don't you tell us what inspired you to develop the product or service?
Well, all our products and services are driven by our customers. So I'm proud to say, first of all, thank you, IANA, for the opportunity, and thank you for hosting. You've done a great job today, and really appreciated the whole conference virtually. But as far as the innovation itself, it's driven by customer needs. You know, we listen to our customers. Customers tell us what's important. We think we understand the industry. We're always learning, but we want to deliver solutions that have an impact and that are practical. So thank you. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And what does winning something like this award mean to you and the team over at BlackBerry Radar?
It tells us that we're doing some things right, that we're to be recognized by our peers and leaders in the industry. It means a lot to us. So I really want to thank the Radar team and all involved with delivering this solution to the market. We appreciate the recognition. It means a lot to us to have IANA, recognize us with an innovative idea. It's fantastic. We really appreciate it, and it means the world to us. Thank you.
Yeah, and being voted in by your peers. So now let's talk about the future. Where do you see the industry in like 5 years' time? Are there any trends or predictions that we should be looking out for?
I do see technology continuing to play an ever increasing role in improving the supply chain globally, as well as and specifically in North America. I see the more people innovate and leverage technology, I still think technology is very under leveraged in our industry. So I think there's a lot that can be done. People use it, as I mentioned in my presentation, people use it in different ways that work specifically for their business. Every company's different. Everybody has a niche. Everybody operates slightly differently because it's such a competitive industry. So I think you can use technology to differentiate yourself and reduce costs and improve utilization. So we're in that with everybody here on the call. We're all in it together.
Absolutely. And I think we're just going to keep seeing innovation in this industry. And I think it's just very, very exciting. And so in saying that, what's next for you? What's next for BlackBerry Radar?
Well, for us, it's an evolution. So we're just going to continue a pace of innovation and continually listening to our customers, growing our business, delivering solutions that solve problems. So that's our focus. And we need to do that efficiently and quickly. So we learn from the customer, we learn from the industry. Can we deliver those solutions back in a fairly rapid manner? That's what's next for us, is to continue to innovate and just continually quality improvement from us at BlackBerry Radar. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, fantastic. And congratulations again. I also want to say a big congratulations to the other competitions finalists involved today. You are all deserving of a win. I know that this is just the beginning for each and every one of you. Innovation is the key to creating a better, more sustainable, collaborative, and effective industry, and you all truly represent that. And last but definitely not least, a massive thank you to IANA for facilitating this, because without organizations like you fostering creativity and innovation and shining a spotlight on all those businesses who are struggling to be seen, our industry would be light years behind where it is now. This has been a fantastic event. I've loved hearing from all of you, and I can't wait to see what you all do next. Thanks to everybody in the audience as well. I'm your host, Sarah Barnes-Humphrey, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us for this signature series presentation, part of IANA's The Business of Intermodal Continues program.